Here this time.
Yeah, we are live. I'm waiting for my lame ass audio check. Jacob is on time and present today. I swear, like sometimes it's supposed to be like I think an 8 or 15 second. Oh, there it is. There it goes. Okay, audio seems good. So, Jacob, how are you doing today?
Not too bad. Not too bad. In the air conditioning, and it's 99 outside. So
Yeah.
Good to be in air conditioning.
Although, like my air conditioning here, if it goes above 95, it struggles. So,
Yeah.
I mean, generally speaking, most people don't know this. I mean, I know it from growing up in construction and reading and stuff. If you have, let's say, 1,000 square foot apartment or house or whatever, and you get the exact right amount of air conditioning that is called for, you only get 20 to 25 degrees of lower temperature.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, and so when you're in a left wing state where they cap the amount of air conditioning you could put on places, right? You're kind of screwed, you know. I mean, honestly, even in Florida, like I was watching a dude build a Fandemonium down there, and they had like I don't know if it was EPA induced or fire induced, but they were like, no, you can only have so much air conditioning in your house, and I'm like if that were me, I'd be like sure, and then as soon as they were gone, I'd install like fucking 10 times more, you know. It's like
yeah. I think that the air conditioner they put in this house that I'm in is like it could cool a house twice this size.
Yeah. And to be honest, you want more.
When it gets cold, yeah.
If nothing else, running more at a lower level uses less energy than running less at a higher level to be equivalent. You know. So.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So we are at 5:04. So let's YouTube. Well, I guess I can look at the chat in StreamYard, so I can switch since YouTube's stupid new interface doesn't show me any stats or whatever. Like when I look at it online, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's 5:05. I have one unboxing to do, so let's just get that over with. Right? No self-doxing today. Oh, I should turn off the background so you can see what I'm unboxing. Right? They should have a button like in your StreamYard. There should be a button: virtual background on or virtual off. Without having to open up the settings or whatever. You know?
Yeah, that would be nice.
I really want to get the OBS because I haven't tried it in a year. I do since I use Linux here. But when I first ran, the OBS virtual camera didn't really work well in Linux. But just like the virtual background in StreamYard didn't work in Linux for a long time. So I figure one of these weekends I'll sit down and see if I can get the virtual camera and OBS running. Then I could do the virtual background from my own end and don't have to worry about, you know what I mean?
Right.
And then you could actually play videos and stuff in the background. I could have the Fifth Element live on Woman Stream.
Yeah, I need to do the same thing. I need to sit down and just learn how to use it and get it up and running.
Open, damn it, open. Where's that quote from? What movie? It's not one of my two favorite movies. People out there.
Oh. I don't know.
It's from Transformers the movie when Ultra Magnus was trying to open the Autobot Matrix of Leadership and it wasn't the proper time to open. He was like, open, damn it, open! And then he got blown apart by Galvatron. The box in the box. I'll say Ripa uses some good tape on his products. Oh, I thought this was something else. Okay. So I thought this was going to be my Ripaverse magazine. This is only big screen me here. Here we go. No. This one maybe. Why isn't it switching? Okay. Okay. You know what? This one I want. This one. Switcheroo. There we go. This is Goodging the Polymath. It's the next volume from the Ripaverse. This came fast. Right. The campaign I think just finished 2 weeks ago, and I thought this was going to be my 2 Rippaverse magazines. I have to see where they are.
Yeah.
High quality construction.
By the way,
Mike
is
Barron.
that sticky?
Good. What?
The packaging? That packaging is the edge sticky?
Yeah, it's a sealed bag. It's like a comic bag with a steel.
Yeah, but after you open it, is it sticky?
The stick is still there. It's like a peel off tape thing. I think I can actually peel off the sticky part. Probably if you do it 10 or 15 times, it won't work anymore, type of thing.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Yeah. So
I've just opened a comic book and it got stuck to the front of the comic book.
When you open comics, right? I'll do this. After you do this, right? You always want to put your hand like this.
Right.
Always. This way, when you pull the book out, right? You pull it out enough where you still leave your fingers over the sticky part. Then you switch and pull with the other hand. You always want to have your hand shielding this, or you do a fold back.
Yeah.
It's
just a good. I was just pointing it out because that's a good thing to remember and point out to people, to be careful when you pull your comic book out.
Yeah. No, it's a great thing. I mean, like you could ruin a comic book very easily that way.
Yeah.
Okay. Take a look-see inside. By Mike Barron, Will Conrad, and Jay Brown, whoever that is. I know who Mike Barron is. Take a little sample of the art. I think, let me check. The artist is, Invisible Art Studio letter. Will Conrad is the artist. Okay, Mike Barron is the writer. A little art sample. Okay.
Nice.
There is a trailer for this. We can go watch it to get an idea of maybe what it's about. Let me put it away. And same thing, when you're putting it away, see, I'm holding by the edge. The sticky is normally over here, right? The Ripper stickies are over here, so you don't have to worry about it. It's not a danger. But like normally the stickies are a little piece of tape or something up here. So you put your hand over here and go like this. Okay. Let's go take out the back to us here. Let me go find Rippaverse. Rippaverse. See if we can find the trailer for Gooding the Polymath. Characters, maybe. Okay, so let's present, share screen. Gooding. Did it show up? Yeah, okay. So after graduating as a valedictorian, Hartman University offered a full scholarship, and mid-war offered him a job. Of reading on his own, he left to start his own venture, eventually founding Gooding Services. Despite not being an accept in the Rippaverse is like a metahuman or super, like a mutant or whatever his version of it. Cato used his inventive skills to inspire his opponents. While his genius and mind serves his greatest asset, his weaknesses include limited physical strength and a tendency to work alone. Despite these challenges, Cato continues evolving and fighting for righteousness. Okay, that's the type of character it is. He did appear in Iceland #2. I remember that. There's supposed to be I think there's a Gooding trailer someplace. Let's Gooding trailer. Here we go. Can you hear it, Jacob?
I'm Cato Gooding, owner and operator of Gooding Services. I've done work all around the city of Flores Park, but there's a reason why we're based out of Shadow Valley. The city has its police force and Alpha Corps. It even has superheroes that patrol the streets. They're more than capable of dealing with various threats. Shadow Valley is full of hardworking, honest people. It's unfortunate that the city acts like you don't even exist. And that's why we're here. Let's be honest, the city allocates little resources for Shadow Valley. That's why they're so late to respond to issues. Good people deserve good service. For our great citizens, we provide it all. From firefighting to criminal investigations, you can count on Gooding Services.
Gooding Services has a bundle for all budgets. You can be fully protected with emergency response for just $49.99.
Okay, so it's like a Heroes for Hire thing. Yeah. So Heroes for Hire is Power Man and Iron Fist. For Marvel Comics, they become Heroes for Hire because basically they hire themselves out as heroes. They did regular superhero stuff too, you know. So I don't know if you've read any of the Rippaverse comics, but they're all set in that fictional city in Texas, and they have Dempsey. Welcome to the
I read
stream.
the first one.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Dempsey.
Yeah, Isom 1 was okay. Isom 2 was better. Yaira is the best one. I loved Yaira. Yes, I know because she's a fan service character. I'm cool with that. But the concept of her character of being a sort of alien, kind of like Thor in a way. Like I don't know yet, but I think how people were confused as gods when they came here, type of thing. You know, there's still out to be revealed with future issues. I enjoyed Yaira a lot. I enjoyed Alpha Core a bit. You know, and Yaira I like a lot. I'll see how I like this. And then there's Bloodroot that he's coming out with, and another one I think that was just announced. And I'm getting the Rippaverse magazines. There's supposed to be some short comic stories in there too, so with some other characters. So, I mean, hopefully ISOM number 3 continues the trend of improvement. You know, for ISOM itself, right? You know,
right?
Yeah. Okay, so we got Dempsey's here. Dempsey is a musician, by the way, if you all can check his stuff out. Dempsey, if you can send me a link, I'll put it out there. I can put it in the area below. Well, what should we do? Okay, so we're doing our follow-up to Roman's stream last night, which we tend to usually do. Let's talk about M. Night Shyamalan's filmography.
Shyamalan?
Yeah. It's supposed to be Shyamalan, but everyone malted on purpose, you know?
Yeah.
So, a lot of times I'll say Shyamalan a ding dong when talking about his bad movies.
Sure. Yeah.
So here we go. He's his history. He's an Indian American filmmaker. On click. Here we go. He's an Indian American filmmaker. Began his career in 1992 with the student film Friend with Anger. Blah blah blah. Okay. Now let's go back to his films. Right. Have you seen a bunch of his films?
I've seen a few of them. Yeah.
Okay. So
more his earlier stuff.
Yeah. So a lot of times, for those who are new to my channel, or when Jacob and I do this, we go over the guy's filmography to talk about did they have a good period, like we did Ridley Scott. Pretty much everything Ridley Scott has done after The Martian has sucked. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk here. So Pray with Anger is a college film, a student film. Never seen it. The first of his films that I've seen, well, technically, I didn't even know he did this. So She's All That, right, is sort of a rom-com with Freddie Prinze Jr., Rachel Lee Cook. I remember seeing being like a hot girl back then. So I think that's why I watched it, you know. But I didn't know he had actually did uncreated rewrites to that. So anyway, I think the first film of his that we're all familiar with is The Sixth Sense. Okay.
Yeah, which, in my opinion, is one of his best. It's probably the best.
Arguably. What? Did I just lose a tooth? Sorry, guys online. Oh, so when you get old, weird things happen with your teeth, and you got to check them right away. You know. Sorry about that. It wasn't me losing a tooth. It was something, I guess, stuck in a tooth that fell out. But I was like, "Oh my God, did I just lose a tooth live on screen?" Like, you know. So Sixth Sense. I didn't like it a lot the first time I saw it, mostly because it was 99. I was in the middle of a mental health crisis at the time. about 8-year-long mental health crises. I think I just I didn't have patience for films like that. I think a few years later, I watched it, rewatched it, and enjoyed it a lot more. So yeah, it's if it's not his best, it's one of his 2 or 3 best movies, right? And it's one of those films you don't talk too much about the plot of because it does really kind of spoil it, Though you're with M. Night Shyamalan, trying to say his name right now, Shyamalan. His movies always have at least 1 or 2 twists in them, right? So, now this Stuart Little film, I kind of remember this. He was a writer on it. I don't know how well it did. Let's just check that. And I know I watched it, right? Because
yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, so it apparently did okay. Grossed 140 million in the U.S. and Canada for a movie that cost way less than that. So okay, so that's two good early movies that he was involved with. Then Unbreakable comes along, and of all of his movies, prior to 4 years ago, this was my favorite of his movies, Unbreakable. It was a great performance by Bruce Willis, an incredible performance by Bruce Willis. Samuel L. Jackson actually did a role that wasn't his typical role, so he did a great job in there. And I like the idea of there being a sequel to it eventually, which we got years later. We'll talk about that in line. Then we get to the movie that's probably my favorite of his movies for the past 4 or 5 years, right? Signs.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to say what it says here, right? Signs is a 2002 American science fiction horror film written and directed by M. Night Shyamalan, right? So, the common complaints about the movie Signs for people who don't like it or don't get it are that why did the water hurt the aliens and so forth, and what was with all the religious stuff. But I reevaluated this film 5 years ago and realized it's not a science fiction film.
Yeah.
What we're calling aliens are actually demons. It's a religious, a religious horror film. Would you call it a supernatural horror film type of thing, right? That's the way to say it. And when you understand that, and you listen and watch the film, and plus you got to know some of the lore he was pulling from. Like there's a whole segment of UFO people who believe that the UFOs aren't aliens; they're actually like angels and demons and all that.
That's what I would think.
Yep. The reason the water hurt them was because all the water in the earth, there's something says in the film, had been blessed, basically, right? So it was all holy water briefly, and also the issue with that was why you had the supernatural things like the tie with like seeing the visage of his wife and all that sort of stuff, and the signs. Like there are people who break it down a lot, and when you think of it as a religious horror film, or there's a little throwaway line where they say something like in Israel or whatever, they find an ancient way to defeat them, right?
Right.
Well, that's an allusion to them finding a biblical way to defeat them. So
yeah,
and there's a lot of sort of he did really well to disguise it to make you like that was the real twist. I think the twist was it wasn't a science fiction film, but not all of people got. Even I didn't get that for years. I liked the film.
I mean,
go ahead.
You can actually look at it as 2 movies. You can look at it as the Alien movie, or you can look at it as which is what it was intended to be, a kind of semi-religious movie.
Yeah. Well, it's like how do I put it? Yeah, you can certainly look at 2 movies. I'm not going to dispute that anyway, of course. But like what I'm getting at is all of his films have some sort of twist in them, right? But everyone expects the swerve to be like something in the plot later in the movie or whatever, right? I think the swerve in this movie was actually that it wasn't an alien movie. You know what I mean? Like from the beginning, he swerved people on it, and why the alien was specifically after a the demons. He was a minister who lost his faith. That's a prime target of demons, and all that sort of thing. And it really, there's a lot, when you rewatch it, thinking of it as a supernatural horror film, a lot of things make a certain sense that they didn't when you first may have watched it and thought these were aliens, So,
yeah.
So that's Signs. So, okay, so we have, Sixth Sense, Stuart Little's Unbreakable, Signs, 4 in a row that are pretty good, right? And then we get to where people start to say he had problems, right? So here was The Village, right? This film is basically like people trapped in a village by some pseudo supernatural stuff. I don't want to spoil it, but it's honestly not worth watching. It's an okay movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just, it could have been a little better. You know what I mean? It could have been like, it's a film I'll watch once and think it's okay and never want to watch again, right? Like someday I'll watch Sixth Sense again. Someday I'll watch Unbreakable again. Someday I'll watch Signs again, but The Village just felt, I don't know, like a one-off type movie, Now the next film, Lady in the Water, a lot of people dislike this, and this is probably my 3rd favorite movie of his.
I have not seen that one.
Yeah. So when people watch this again, I think this suffered from the same sort of swerve that Signs did. Like, this is it's like a fantasy psychological thriller type of thing, but I think the swerve is like they're expecting it to be a horror movie, and it's not. It's a straight out fantasy movie. So you were expecting horrible like jump scares and monsters and whatever, but in reality, it's more like like the swerve was, and I think maybe he might have been trying to make his swerves too hard, which
Yeah.
And then this is The Happening, which was horrible. I mean,
that was so bad.
Yeah, I mean, oh God, about an ecological disaster that causes mass suicides or whatever, So, and then there's this movie, which is utter garbage, right?
Yes,
like it's in this, like it's just so insanely bad. It's not even. I don't know how to describe it, So then we get Devil, which I thought he apparently produced and wrote it, but didn't direct it. I thought this movie was okay. It's a supernatural movie. It's kind of okay, right? After Earth was horrible.
The last Airbender. Oh yeah. Okay.
Let's
After Earth.
talk about the
Airbender. That's the last one I saw.
Okay.
After Earth was the last one I saw. It's like,
I
didn't realize it was M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess he got it because maybe he was a fan and he was a big director and he said, "Oh, let's see what Shyamalan can do with it," or whatever. But it was horrible. After Earth was a bad movie. It's a really bad movie.
The accents they had too in it.
Yeah.
Oh, that was horrible.
Will Smith's character's name was Cypher Rage or some crazy thing like that.
Yeah.
Then there was The Visit, which did I watch this? I might not have watched this movie. The plot doesn't look familiar. Okay. And then there was Split, which was a great movie. It's a sequel to Unbreakable.
Okay.
It's great, right? And then there was Glass, which was the final part of the trilogy with Unbreakable, and it was utterly horrible. It was like so bad. It's not arguably, it's his worst. It's worse than Avatar: The Last Airbender. Worse. Because he ruined his own Unbreakable. If this movie had been as good as the first two, this might have been the best movie trilogy of all time. Right? All the great work he did on Unbreakable, Bruce Willis and Sam Jackson. Then he goes to Split with James McAvoy, who played Professor X, right? Who has an amazing role in it. He plays an amazing character. He's a serial killer, basically, with split personality disorder, and just insanely awesome. And then Glass comes along, and they kind of, I don't know how to. I don't know how to describe the plot because if you haven't seen the first two, it's not going to make sense, you know. And then Old. I didn't watch Old. I didn't watch the last couple here. Basically, I thought Trap was interesting. The idea they were basically the premise is they would set a trap for a serial killer at a sporting event. Now I'm not going to read the plot because I do want to watch the movie. Even though spoilers, I don't mind. You know what? Because whenever you get a Shyamalama movie, you're always trying to think of what the swerve could be, right? And did you see the trailer for Trap?
No, I haven't.
Okay. We can go watch it so you get an idea of maybe what's going on. Let's hit the YouTube. Okay. And Trap trailer 2024. So we'll do the Trap 2 trailer, I guess. Let's do the first one because that might give you a sense of what's going on. Now, this one I will pause every 15 seconds or so, just because, you know, Warner might be a
Yeah, you still got the Wikipedia page.
Oh, good. So I'll go after the beginning.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together.
I will mute this one
for
though,
lady.
and turn the captions. And I'll pause every 15 or so seconds. Okay. So it starts out a dad taking his daughter to a concert, right? Seems like a normal, and you know it's Shamalama Lama Lama Ding Dong, so you're expecting something strange.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I want to point something out for my theory of what actually happens in the film. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. The female singer name is Lady Raven. Just remember that when I give my theory later. Standard dad stuck at a teeny bopper concert vibe, right? So far, you know. There's Lady Raven. So, you know, again, nothing. It looks just like a weird. Like, why is Shamalama Lama Lama doing this film, right?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you see cops all over the place. Stop it again. Okay, keep going. You figure out what the plot is yet, Jacob?
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know why you'd choose this kind of place to do it.
Well, they've actually done it. They did it with a Yankee game once, if I recall correctly, where they gave free tickets to a Yankee game to get criminals to show up and they arrested them as they walked out. You know?
Oh yeah, okay, I remember that.
So we immediately learn he's a serial killer, right? Okay. I think the swerve is he's not the butcher. You get what I'm saying, Jacob?
Kind of. I haven't seen the movie, so
yeah. Well, I'm just saying. I think he's going to swerve us with the movie when I will watch it, and that he's another serial killer, right? And Lady Raven's actually the butcher. And the reason I say that is because Shyamalan clearly knows some mythology, especially Celtic mythology with Lady in the Water and other films.
Okay.
And the Raven is the Morrigan a death goddess? To keep the mythology simple, to not go crazy over what death and all that, but right. So that's why I think the swerve is going to be in that movie. But anyway, back to the filmography. Sure. Oh, you can't. That's right. They got to change this thing where if you close a tab, it closes sharing. Present.
Yeah.
Share. Okay. View tab. Okay. So hit the back button. So basically, after Split, as far as I know, his films have been bad to subpar. Right. I haven't seen Knock at the Cabin.
Yeah.
The Watchers. I thought the Watchers came out. Did it come out yet? He's only a writer on it. It came out in June. So this one I'll probably check out too. But you don't have a lot of great hope, right? So his good period seems to be from 99 through, let's say, 2006 or so. And then one or two films after that are good. You know what I mean? Would you concur?
Yeah. Yeah. I'd say that, yeah.
Okay. Okay, who we got? Okay, now it's time for our new regular segment, Jacob. So let's go back to me and you. And our book for this week, which if you were on Roman stream last night, you know what book that is. Nope, not that one. This one. Nope. Which ones are these StreamYard things drive me crazy? Oh, this one. Our book for this week is The Little Golden Book about Bob Ross. Now, from background, who is Bob Ross? Obviously, right? Because just because this is meaningless if you have no idea who Bob Ross is. It's been how many? Oh, it's been like 20 years since he died already. Jeez.
Yeah.
He was an American Air Force veteran who became a painter, The Joy of Painting on PBS. And even if you didn't get into painting, it was always cool to watch him do those paintings. Are you old enough to remember him, Jacob?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you can read about his biography and all that. Now I will, to put the book in perspective, we'll do one, because there are some Bob Ross paintings on YouTube.
Yeah, they have full episodes on YouTube, actually.
Yeah. And I don't think they can copyright us because it's PBS. So we're not going to go. We're just going to give a little perspective on him. So it's this type of vibe with that type of music. And see how he talks. It's to get an idea. He has the nice, gentle voice, and he teaches people how to paint, and and if you skip ahead a bit, he creates these awesome sort of scenes from his painting style, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's here.
Okay, we put the dirt in first. Then we can come back and highlight this a little with some grassy areas.
So that's a little bit of Bob Ross. So now we can get into the book. I haven't opened this, and you can tell by the crack it's going to make when I pop it. Now, these little golden books have themes, apparently. Like the first one we did was alphabetical, A is for alien. And the last one I think was called an Inside Out book or something. That was Jaws. So this one doesn't say what the theme is. So we'll see. Maybe it's just about Bob Ross. It might not be a theme. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
Wow. Yeah, this spine is a little bound up in this one. Let me see if I can get it to. Oh, there, I got the crease in. Yeah. Whenever you get these little golden books, you have to make sure you get the crease in, or it'll just keep holding all the pages. Oh, it's a biography. Robert Norman Ross was born on October 29th, 1942, in Daytona Beach, Florida. His mother, Ollie, taught him to love and respect wildlife. Bob learned to make friends with trees. All he had to do was talk to them. Happy little trees. I think this is more of a story one. Might not be a lot of humor. We'll see what we get. Bob's father, Jack, was a carpenter. When Bob was in 9th grade, he decided to quit school and train to be a carpenter too. Bad, not a great decision, but worked out for him. While working with his father, Bob lost the tip of his left index finger to an accident. Oopsie daisy. Growing up in Florida, Bob would find and take care of injured animals, including snakes, squirrels, and armadillos. Once his parents found him nursing an alligator back to health in their bathtub. Oh, God. Could you imagine walking in on that, hoping it's not a giant gator that your kid dragged in there? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
God. Bob decided that woodworking wasn't for him. He joined the United States Air Force when he was 18 and shortly after was sent to live on a base in Alaska. Alaska's dramatic landscapes and snow-capped mountains were unlike anything Bob had seen before. Oh my God. Can you imagine if up there he put a little polar bear into to nurse it back to health?
Yeah. There's a polar bear in the barracks.
Like, Bob, what have you done? What? This polar bear was injured. I'm wrapping its paw. Like, what side? Left, this side. Okay. My camera's in reverse. It's a little funky for me to pick up. Inspired by his surroundings, Bob took his first painting class in Alaska. Though he enjoyed painting, he was frustrated by his teachers, who preferred abstract art to realism. Bob wanted to learn how to paint a tree that actually looks like a tree. Happy little trees. One day while watching TV, Bob discovered a show called The Magic of Oil Painting. The host, a German painter named William Alexander, who lived in Bob's home state of Florida, completed a landscape painting during each 30-minute episode while explaining his technique. Bob was fascinated. There is some real-life controversy in that. We'll avoid that here. Other side. Bill Alexander used an oil painting technique called alla prima, or the first attempt in Italian, also known as wet on wet. Thus, this approach allowed artists to finish paintings quickly by applying new layers of paint without waiting for previous layers to dry. Bob kept watching Bill's shows, and he practiced the wet on wet technique until he mastered it. Before long, Bob was painting landscapes on the backs of gold painting tins and selling it for $25 a piece. Sign. In 1981, Bob retired from the Air Force as a master sergeant and moved back to Florida to study in person with Bill Alexander. Bob even joined Bill's company as a traveling instructor. In one of Bob's painting workshops, he met Annette Kowalski. Annette saw his talent and knew he could be a big success. It's pretty cool. It's a cool biography.
It's a pretty nice little story.
This side. Oh, look at! Oh my God! Because they have drawn enough hair on him. I can't get the focus. I could read this way. At first, the company struggled. Bob's shopping mall painting classes attracted only small audiences. Annette brought local newspaper ads and even set up a telephone hotline to generate buzz. Eventually, the big break came in the form of a TV show. Annette and her husband became Bob's business partners. Together with Bob's wife, Jane, they started Bob Ross Inc., launching a line of paints and brushes. Although Bob's hair was naturally straight, he saved money on haircuts by getting a perm, a curly hairstyle that can last a long time. He really liked the look and became the company's logo, so he never changed it. Lazy haircutting, right? The Joy of Painting aired on January 11th, 1983. Can't get the focus there. On PBS over the next 11 years. Bob would film 403 episodes. In each, he stood in a dark room with a blank canvas with a smudge brush and a palette knife scrape there. He'd bring on imaginary landscapes seen to life in front of into life in half an hour. Okay, sorry about mangled that one, guys. If I were a parent, this book would be cool.
Yeah.
But the joy of painting wasn't just about the masterpieces Bob created. It was about sharing the experience with his viewers. He believed that anyone could be an artist and that art should be accessible to everyone. On his show, he just used 13 paint colors and a handful of tools. Like Bill Alexander, Bob explained his process step by step so viewers could paint along with him. But many people tuned in simply to watch Bob and to listen to his calm, soothing voice as he painted his happy little trees. Bob remained an animal lover his entire life. Occasionally, animals that Bob was helping to rehabilitate appeared on his show. These include a baby raccoon, there's one for you, Jacob, a fawn, an owl named Hoot, and perhaps the most famous of all, Peapod the squirrel. The Joy of Painting is considered to be the most popular art show in history. People from all over the country and the world tuned into their television and tuned into Bob for inspiration. Bob died on July 4th, 1995, but his legacy lives on today. There are more than 3,000 official Bob Ross instructors worldwide. And although he never received recognition from the art world during his lifetime, you can now find some of his paintings in the Smithsonian's National Museum of American History's permanent collection. Bob Ross didn't just teach people how to paint. He taught people how to believe they could paint. Believe it. So next time you need a little encouragement, just think of Bob Friendly and saying, you can move mountains. You can do anything. Happy little trees. You know, I like this one.
Yeah, that was a good one.
His life, I mean, as far as we know, Bob Ross has he's like Mr. Rogers. They had these inspirational lives that no one can say anything negative about them. You know what I mean? And,
yeah,
it's surprising that Disney could produce this book for kids with all the other anti-kid crap they have. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
this is a 5 out of 5 to me. So,
yeah.
And as much as you will take mine, Jacob, what's your rating, Jacob? By the way,
yeah, I'd give it I'd give it a 5 out of 5. It's for a kid's book. Yeah, that's great. That's a great pick.
Well, if a kid's book, but also if you didn't know this stuff, I didn't know some of the stuff in here. I knew most of it. Like, this is pretty informative even for an adult. You know what I mean? Like it had good information. It had the technique. You could find. You know what I mean? And so, as much as our recommendation means anything for a children's book, right? I think this is pretty dang good.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Something funny too. Can you imagine? He was a drill instructor in the Air Force. Can you imagine turning on the TV and saying, "That's my drill instructor"?
It must have been like his guys he drill instructed had kids, and they're watching him paint, and the guys like shudder, like, because guys have like flat like PTSD from their DIs for their entire life, you know. Yeah. Okay, so we got a little golden book of the week away. I think I have 6 more of them, so 6 more weeks worth, and then we'll see if, like, I'm not going to spam all my money on little golden books, but hoping, I figured these 7 or so that I bought looked almost interesting A's for Alien. So, what else? So I have a couple articles. We'll go a little negative first there. Let's go to this view here, and we'll share this tab. Okay. Now, for those who don't know, I'm a big pro wrestling fan. So Kevin Sullivan, if you're a pro wrestling fan, you know who Kevin Sullivan was. He was a longtime heel character. Also worked behind the scenes. He is the departed the character named Woman, Nancy Benoit. Unfortunately, divorced Kevin Sullivan and married Chris Benoit, and that negativity happened. But Kevin Sullivan passed away yesterday or this morning. So let's do a little read through here. It was recently revealed that the multi-time NWA, the National Wrestling Alliance, for those who don't know, is like the big one is the WWE, but after the WWE, the National Wrestling Alliance is probably the most well-known wrestling organization in history. Okay? Anyway, the multi-time NWA champ, am I sharing correctly? Yeah, okay. Kevin Sullivan has passed away at 74. I'd heard he wasn't in great shape about a month ago. So Kevin, the Taskmaster Sullivan, was a notable name in the 80s after he spent over a decade honing his craft inside the square circle. The veteran dominated NWA across the United States and worked in territories where he captured gold on different occasions. DeLisser also spent time in ECW forever, and WCW, where he captured championship gold with Taz and Mick Foley, respectively. After working with the Dungeon and taking on Hulk Hogan, the veteran transitioned into different roles before he was fired from WCW in the coming years. That was when WCW was collapsing. Okay. Earlier this year, Kevin Sullivan was in a devastating car accident in Florida, and the serious injuries impacted his health, and that ultimately was passing. Right? Here's a little comment from Ric Flair. With the heaviest of hearts, Ric Flair tweeted in support of when he was hospitalized. Barry Rose. Okay, here WWE Street. WWE is saddened to learn that Kevin Sullivan has passed away. We extend our condolences to Kevin's family and fans. They may be doing a salute for him on Monday Night Raw. We'll find out. They usually do with wrestling legends. You know, so that's some sad news. Out 74. We yep. So now on to happy news. Did we talk about this last week, Jacob?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so apparently,
I mean, you might have before I came.
Marvel Studios fired woke producers after Phase 4. Chris Gore dropped this rumor, I want to say 2 weeks ago, maybe. And that with all the failures of the Marvel films, that happens, the Phase 4 films, that a few months ago, Kevin Feige had enough of it and decided he was going to cut all the writers and producers making these woke films. And so the films that are being put together now, which they announced at San Diego Comic-Con, the 2 Avengers movies and whatnot, will be post-woke. But other than Deadpool, what's still coming out, which I think is Captain America 4, will still be woke crap, you know? So,
yeah.
What?
Yeah, Chris Gore said that it'd take about a year before we'd start seeing better movies. Hopefully.
It seems true to me because there have been people on these TV shows bitching about being fired over the past month or two, but we all probably thought that was just because of individual firing because the stuff was bad. You know what I mean? Now,
yeah,
there was an early sign that this was occurring that maybe we didn't think about, right? Do you remember when they were doing the revival of Daredevil from Netflix, right? Because he was on She-Hulk.
Yeah.
And they first did it, and then Fahey told them to redo the entire series because it was like full of woke garbage, basically. And that was about 4 or 5 months ago. So I'm wondering if that was the final straw. And like the woke, that was the last attempt by the woke, and Fahey was like, nope, we're not doing this, fired them all, and got a bunch of and we didn't know at the time because obviously until Chris Gore reported months later. You know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
So so here Disney CEO Bob Iger confirmed a $4 billion streaming loss, which among the MCU projects would include She-Hulk, Miss Marvel, Secret Invasion, and more. X-Men 97 failed to deliver, as we well know. You know. And the Russos are back. Deadpool. We should check on Deadpool and Wolverine too. What is Deadpool Wolverine doing? Let's go to the numbers.
Got Deadpool Conroy Wolverine in the chat.
Oh,
how's it going?
Hey Conroy, welcome. Deadpool and Wolverine so far has grossed this is usually international box office. Is like twice the So let me make it a little bigger. There we go. So domestic 440 million, international 484, Worldwide, 924. So this movie's clearly going to bust $1 billion, right? Well,
Yeah.
So maybe they'll give Ryan Reynolds control of the MCU. Is it showing? Yeah. Okay. Get rid of the Bob Ross. Okay.
How about just get competent people to run your shows?
We both know that's true, but I think the problem is these people were dedicated to an ideology who were doing all this stuff and
Right.
didn't
They
care
were
about the profitability. Yeah.
Yeah, they were dedicated to that ideology, not what they were hired to do.
Yep. Well, no, I think they actually hired for the ideology, and I think someone convinced a lot of people that this would make them money.
Right.
But no, what else is? Let's look at our weekly box office here. So Deadpool, Wolverine is still in the lead. Twisters apparently did fairly well. Let's call that up and see. So Twisters has been out how many weeks now? 2 weeks, 2 weeks maybe.
2 weeks maybe. Yeah.
286 million. I heard. I never liked the original, but I didn't dislike it. It just wasn't for me. So I heard this movie is entertaining. So, right.
Yeah, it's not really a movie to me that has rewatchability.
Yeah.
Twister.
Despicable Me 4. Now, I never got into the Despicable Me series, but I heard the first one was really good. So I don't know. I can't judge this one, but this movie is making 800 million. So, is this a Pixar?
I'm not sure.
Let's find out. Despicable Me. Not Despacito, Despicable Me. Share this tab. So Despicable Me is an American media franchise created by Sergio Pablos, who's a Universal. Okay, Universal Pictures. So it is actually a competitor to Pixar. Okay. Oh, okay. Now I know. Okay, look. So the Minions, right? Minions, and it's a spin-off of Minions. Okay. So I know what this one is now. Yeah. Now I'm not saying I got into Minions, but I get the connection now. Let's go back over here. Now the movie I need to see. I'm buying it on Blu-ray as soon as it comes out. Is Inside Out 2, 1.6 billion. This movie has a chance, if it has a little more legs, of hitting $2 billion. Can you imagine that?
Wow.
Yeah. I've talked about this movie several times on this channel, so I'm not going to bog the channel down with it again. But But I will say this: so as a person who has dealt with mental illness, I'm in remission. People ask me, Matt, can you show me something that explains how people with mental illness function? I point out one of two or three things. There's a TV show called Life from around 2007, especially the first season. It starred the guy from the TV show Homeland. He's a great actor, and it was the first season especially showed a guy dealing with mental illness. Right? He was a cop who was falsely sent to prison for 15 years, and he had to survive that somehow. And the other film that shows dealing with mental illness is Inside Out. So it's an amazingly accurate film to me for it. Right? And I heard Inside Out 2 is more of the same, so we'll see. Right? Now on to another related top. Oh, we'll go back to the box office one more. So that was our top 5. I've never heard of Harold and the Purple Crayon. I don't even know what this movie is.
Never heard of it.
Harold and the Purple Crayon. It's starring Zachary Levi, the guy who played Shazam.
Okay, yeah.
It's a fantasy comedy. And it's being panned, so I guess that's why it sucked. Or no one heard of it. Share this tab. And back to our films. Okay, so that's our top 5. Long Legs is a horror movie. I haven't watched A Quiet Place Day One yet. I like the Quiet Place series though, so I will watch that. So that's our top 10 basically, right? You know.
Yeah.
And my last article, which relates to the theaters, is this. So it says Apple is done with theatrical releases. Now, I'm not so much concerned with the content of this article, right? But I think you and I talked about this either on this stream or one of your streams for about a movie last month, Jacob. I think I made the point that due to the combination of COVID and with the lifestyle changes that ensued, with people spreading out more and people wanting to getting used to not going to the theaters, as well as the onset of woke and badly written garbage, that there has been a permanent shift. Like movie theaters will never return to the way they were before in the U.S. If you get what I'm saying, right? And there's a whole bunch of other articles out there that where movie studios are just hemorrhaging money despite you making movies that are at least marginally successful, right? So I think Apple, this is a sign from Apple that they're saying, yep, we're just not even going to bother with the movie theaters anymore, you know.
Right.
And we may see more of this from other studios where, and it may be a good thing. It may be the way to fix the theater is, you know, let less movies go to the theater. The industry collapses a little bit and they close maybe half the theaters. And the only movies that truly go to the theaters are like IMAX or awesome spectacle movies type thing where you know, like Deadpool or whatever. You know what I mean? Like all these other garbage films like we were talking about here. Well, I'm gonna say garbage. That's the wrong way to say it, right? So there's a bunch of movies on this list here, like you know, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, for example, or you know, maybe Long Legs or whatever, where honestly don't seem like they should have went to the theater to begin with, you know, but might be a good movie on their own type of thing, you know. And I think only the big, I think, well, I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm just speculating, right? So that is our prepared content. You got anything, Jacob?
I hope it doesn't, but it's gonna be more expensive to go to the theater, and it shouldn't be that
that's
expensive.
a function of the Biden economy too, you know. So
yeah. But yeah, just one quick thing.
Go ahead.
It has to do with the way they market movies today with trailers and everything.
Yeah.
And I'm specifically pointing out Alien Romulus.
Oh yeah, we talked about that.
I don't know what they're thinking. I mean, they're basically showing the whole movie. Somebody even took all the trailers that have come out in different countries and pieced them together to make up a little short movie. Yeah. It's crazy. I don't know what they're thinking.
They've done that with so many trailers.
This is the worst one I've seen. But this is the worst one I've seen. I haven't seen one this overly marketed and showing every bit of stuff from the movie. It's crazy.
I would say of the movies I have seen in the last, say, 10 years, to me, Dune were the worst trailers, the second movie especially. But because I read the books and know what all those scenes are, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, because I was watching the second trailer and I'm like, why are they showing Paul fighting Fade or Alpha, right? That spoils the whole plot if he gets to a hand-to-hand combat with a guy from another planet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and there's a whole bunch of stuff, especially with the trailers for the second movie. Like the first movie, okay, you know, I thought they were a little spoilery, like too much. But the second movie, I was watching, I'm thinking, like, this. But again, then someone told me, Matt, of course you read the book. That's why you know what that is, you know. But I don't know. I just felt, you know. And we're talking about Alien Romulus when they were showing the face huggers or whatever in some of them, or there are a couple of scenes you and I met.
Well, not just the alien itself. I mean, they're just outright showing it, but there's also behind the scenes stuff already. It's like, what? This is the stuff that comes out after the movie comes out. Sometimes
Yeah.
a few weeks after the movie comes out, but
Yeah.
not before it.
Yeah. I honestly don't have great hope for this movie because anything Ridley Scott has been involved in since The Martian has basically sucked. So, yeah.
Yeah, but he's not involved in it.
Oh, I thought he was producing it or something.
Oh no, I don't think he's involved in it at all. Uh,
So,
and there's reviews coming out about it already that people are that say it's good.
so he is a producer.
It
He
comes
is
out. It
producing
comes
it.
out the 16th. Yeah, he's a producer, but
Yeah.
he doesn't have much say in it.
Good. So it's who's this Feed Alvarez? What is Feed Al? Oh, okay. Filmography. So he did the 2013 Evil Dead film. That was the one with not the horrible sequel they just did. Okay. The woke sequel. This was the one with this one had a female like they had Mia basically as the main character. It wasn't called Ash, if you all know. I thought this movie was started okay and ended really good, right? Like there's a point in the movie, spoilers for the film if you haven't watched it, it's like 11 years old now, right? Where like you're watching the movie and it feels kind of like an Evil Dead film, but you're unlike in the first movie where you sort of got into Ash as a character in the first, second, and third one, right? You don't get into her as a character until like the second half of the film, and then there's a scene where she's like literally bathed in blood, and it becomes Evil Dead. Like you know what I mean? It just transforms from that point out, and like it, you know.
Got Salty in the chat.
Hey, Salty. Yeah, that Yeah, actually, didn't we talk about the Borderlands film way back at the beginning? Because we were talking about miscast movies.
Yeah, it was on an open range with Roman, I think.
Oh yeah. They had Charlize. Was it Charlize Theron?
No, it's Kate. What's her name? Kate Blanchett. And what's the other woman's name? Just total miscasting.
Yeah. Jamie Lee Curtis. And they're playing characters that they're supposed to be much younger than they are, or something like that. You know.
Yeah.
I heard this movie is a phenomenal flop.
Yeah, me too. I do too.
Okay, so we got our prepared content out of the way. Now we'll usually do a few random, article lookups. Let's go to Cosmic Book News. Yeah, so this Henry Cavill being Wolverine thing. Yes, he could play the role. I don't think of him as. I mean, he's the actor. He got the chops. No problem with that, right? But
yeah.
Not if it's going to be more woke crap. You know, I don't want Cavill to get screwed over.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's had that happen to him enough.
Yeah. Dark Horizons. Yeah, Tatum O'Neal wants to.
It seems like, Henry Cavill, whatever he's doing, brings his A game to it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, the guy is an excellent
he's been shafted
actor.
so many times.
Oh yeah, yep. Now we'll do a little aside before we go into article hopping. Fiona Bar Tapestry. So there's a book series. So by Guy Gabriel Kay, the Fiona Bar Tapestry. He is the guy who helped Christopher Tolkien edit together the Silmarillion. And then he wrote his own trilogy, which is a Tolkien-style trilogy called the Fionnevar Tapestry, but based on Celtic mythology, not Germanic, right? And this is probably one of my second or third favorite fantasy book trilogy of all time. And I would love to see them adapt this as a movie, because Henry Cavill would be the perfect character to play one of the main characters, Aleron Danail. He'd be the perfect actor to play that character. Perfect. Like, and I know if you haven't read the book, you know what I'm talking about, right? But it's an underrated, like, maybe because he wrote it so early in his career. Like, if he had written this later in his career when he's a more well-known author, this book would probably be a lot more people, like, would be a lot more,
Okay.
you know. Yeah. Yeah. But
Yeah, I'll put it on my list.
yeah. You can. I don't know if you can get it as an omnibus, but but it's certainly worth reading. Okay, anything fine here? Yeah, no, we were talking about this before. So Paramount takes a $6 billion write down. You know, a $9.1 billion impairment charge in the second quarter. You know, I mean, and I think these are theater companies that are just writing off, like they're used to the idea of these of a constant stream of income from movie theaters, and they don't get it. You know what I mean? And I think there's a big industry transformation about to occur with what goes on and goes to theaters, and a lot less going to go to theaters. You know?
Yeah.
Anything else in Dark Horizons? Oh yeah, Borderlands. So Borderlands scores a rare 0% in reviews.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah.
Maybe don't get to an elderly woman and a 50-year-old to play your main character, two of your main characters
who aren't supposed to be that age, especially, you know. Let's go to Bounding into Comics. Death Wish is an all-time classic. You know, I love this movie. Have you ever seen it?
No, I haven't.
You haven't watched Death? No. Put it on your list, Jacob. I mean, the second movie is okay. It probably has one of the better sequels of any movie that had sequels ever. And then the traditional, like, Death Wish 3 and 4, and I think there's a 5, all bad. But Death Wish 1 was great, and Death Wish 2 was really good, and that's saying something, you know. I think Charles Bronson's an underrated actor, you know. So
yeah, I do too.
Yeah, that's a little. Hey, we can check Charles Bronson's filmography out. Happy Little Trees. Now, I talked of my book review and one of The Great Escape. Charles Bronson was in The Great Escape, of course. He played one of the few.
I gotta make a phone call real quick.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
And I will be right back.
Okay, so while waiting for Jacob, so Charles Bronson was born in 1921 and died at the age of 81 in 2003. He's one of my probably top 10 or 15 favorite actors. He always played that quiet, tough man. He was a Army veteran in World War II, so he had, like a lot of the people of that generation. He fought in the war and became an actor afterwards. You know, he's probably most famous for the film Death Wish, right? Death Wish is a movie about a guy who something horrible happened. So to understand, in 1970s, New York City had become basically a third world country, and crime was bad, and the people were fed up about it. And so something horrible happens to his wife and daughter. Raping and murder, basically. And he's a Korean War vet, and he kind of loses it and becomes a vigilante. And that's what Death Wish is about. You know, it had a dark sense of humor to it, you know, but it was a serious sort of thriller type film with a little bit of like a morbid sense of humor. We'll wait till Jacob gets back for the review of the filmography, because So, any questions for in the chat out there? Pepsi, I'm looking at inevitable Diet Pepsi sponsorship. Always willing to accept it. Salty, how have you been, my friend?
Hey,
Oh, hey, Jacob, welcome back.
you go ahead if you want.
Yep. So
I
we're gonna
may have to drop out again, but
okay.
go ahead.
If you have to go, you have to go. We're almost done. I had no more
All right.
article, so we'll do the film. We'll talk about his filmography, and we'll close it. So I've seen probably almost all of Charles Bronson's films at some point in my life. Okay? Now, like a lot of actors, these are all like uncredited. By the way, if people understand, so you see this uncredited thing here. There was something like nowadays, I'm going to say since the year 1980, every single person who works on a movie or a TV show has to be credited.
Right.
And before then, this is probably a union thing, right? And before then, like a lot of actors would go uncredited, and you never know they're in a film until you saw them, right? But then what's been happening since then is people research these things and fill in Wikipedia and IMDb, so then you find out that they're in the movie. You know what I mean? That's what that means.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all this stuff early on, we're just going to skip because it's all his like background parts or whatever, which I've seen a lot of these movies, but so I think we get to, and he was acting as Charles Baczynski, by the way. So we get to...
Man, he
Go ahead.
He was in a lot.
Yeah. Oh, but remember, this is back when actors worked for studios and they were told on Tuesday, go to this studio and you'll do that part. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So Machine Gun Kelly, I think, was one of his first big roles, right? It was a Roger Corman film of all things, But probably the first biggest movie of his is in The Magnificent Seven. Okay.
Yep.
Which is a remake
Great movies
or homage of Akira Kurosawa's The Seven Samurai. Pops did a review of The Seven Samurai a few days ago on his channel. I haven't had time to watch it. I'll probably watch this weekend. You also check that out and watch this movie and watch The Magnificent Seven. And Bronson played the character in The Seven Samurai who had the giant katana. Can't remember the name of it. I believe Bronson played that version of that character in Magnificent Seven.
Yeah. They kind of shuffle around some of the aspects of the characters from Magnificent Seven, but yeah, they're pretty much one for one.
And then, of course, Master of the World, which is a science fiction film. Jules Verne science fiction with the great Vincent Price. Another actor we should do maybe next week. We could talk about Vincent Price, man. Another lost actor. I don't remember X-15. I'd probably watch it. I don't remember it. Kid Galahad, again, it's an Elvis movie, right? I was a big fan of Elvis movies as a kid. Then, of course, The Great Escape, right?
Great Escape. Yep.
Now in the movie, I went over the differences in my book review, but in like only four of them actually survived the escape, basically, if I remember correctly. So only four of them actually escaped, and only 24 of them of the 70-something survived it. So, and he played one of the guys who escaped in the movie. A lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff. The movie of his, it was in A Dirty Dozen, another great movie.
Mm-hmm.
Once Upon a Time in the West, a great movie. Now, this underrated film of his is Red Sun, where he started with Toshiro Mifune.
Oh, it's like a Western with a samurai in it?
I think the premise is the Japanese ambassador is bringing a ceremonial sword to the president of the U.S., and I think it gets stolen or something like that. and so they send samurai to hunt the sword down and regain their honor, and Bronson helps them out. That's the premise of the movie, right? You know. Then here's an underrated film. It's called The Mechanic. What a great movie. You know, he's basically Hitman, and it's so well done the way he. It's one of the better crime thrillers you'll ever see. You know, The Stone Killer, another good movie. Just a cop film, an action cop film type thing. Chino is a kind of a western. Mr. Majestic, another great one. Kind of a crime story. The Great Death Wish, which to me is his best movie. You know, Hard Time Breakout. I don't remember much. It's a kind of a comedy type of movie, like a dramedy. You know.
Yeah.
And then Hard Times, which is really good. Don't remember enough about these. But then another great one, The White Buffalo. He plays Wild Bill Hickok in that one. You know, Telephone was really good. That's like a crime thriller. You know, Borderline, another good movie. But a film that people don't talk about, it's called Death Hunt. Right? He played with Lee Marvin, a couple others, and takes place up in Alaska, and it's sort of Well, the film stars Charles Bronson. Blah blah. Okay, Death Hunt is a fictionalized account of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police of a man named Albert Johnson, which so it's and he plays Albert Johnson and all that, right? And it's a really good sort of like 18th century police thriller type movie, but it has a lot of cool scenery and stuff, you know. Death Wish 2, which is a really good. He has so many good films in here. I could go on, and then even near the end, like Death Wish 5 was kind of meh, but Death Wish 4 was. Messenger of Death was okay. Kinjite was okay. Murphy's Law was good. You know, like this guy. Most of the films he worked in, when you got past his uncredited like background era, were good movies. That's hard to say for an actor.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we hit 6:15. We did an hour and 15 minutes, which is what I usually aim for. Jacob, what you got coming up?
Tonight I'll be on Potato Raven's channel, talking the first Hunger Games movie.
Okay,
that should be fun. And Monday I'll be on with Beard and who else? Stark of Iron, and we'll be talking about the movie. Blank. I have a blank. We'll be talking. What is it? The Abyss. We'll be talking the movie at The Abyss. And then Tuesday, Matt will be on, and we'll be going over the movie The Untouchables.
Well, when he puts one of yours in the hospital, you put two of his in the morgue. A Kevin Costner film, which it was great despite Kevin Costner, because anyone could have played the role the way he played it, you know. So, yeah,
right.
And next week we'll be on Roman Stream, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. I got coming up. I'll post the Bob Ross little golden book probably sooner than I did last time. I'll probably get it down. I'll download the stream now and edit it out tomorrow or tonight. You know. Jacob's channel on Tuesday for the Untouchables. You know.
Let's do some good.
Yeah. You know. Roman stream next week, of course. Then Wednesday night, Wednesday night is Overbooked, which is a wrestling show that Joker Voice and I are on with a couple other people. I posted the little golden book read of Jaws. It's been up for a couple days. I posted my review of SummerSlam 2 days ago, but you got to watch it on Rumble. I'm in the middle of I was gonna put a screw you YouTube version up on YouTube after they blocked it, where I did like last time. I edited a big blocker with the Rumble video address over the video in the movie, you know. But I said I'm just going to dispute it this time and see if they actually listen to me, because I used less than 10 minutes and talked over it and muted it and everything. So I should be. I am compliant with DMCA, so we'll see. I have another video. Didn't I put another video? look at my list of video productions. So social media episodes. Okay. So I will have my review of Sharp's Siege, which is season 4, episode 2 of Sharp, for sure out this weekend. I just have time to record it, basically. And then I'm going to review a comic book that I bought omnibuses called Harrow County. It's a 32-issue comic series. I've read the omnibuses. It was great preview of the review. That's coming up. And so when did I overbooked? We have we have a video on the questionnaire which is posted this weekend where we talked about a bunch of different articles. I will be talking about. I'll probably do a short video of me of apparently the shots or stills from Rings of Prime season 2 that they posted in some magazine are horrible, and people. So I may do a short video just going over that. Sure. Golden book. I think that's it. So okay. Anyway, so you'll have a great weekend. Stay safe out there.
Yep.
Just stay safe. Have a great weekend, guys.
Bye, everybody.
That's the news, and we are out of here.